If you divide by 0, bad things happen. You cannot divide by 0. Get my little shirt here. Right? All fun and games until someone divides by 0. You cannot divide by 0. So if you cannot divide by 0, or bad things will happen, then what situation here would make bad things happen? What situation here cannot happen?
X cannot equal 4/3.
Yeah. So what we have is 3x minus 4 cannot be 0. Bad things will happen. So I've got to figure out what x can't be. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 3x can't be 4. Divide both sides by 3. X can't be 4/3. That's your domain. That's the one restriction. It could be everything else. But if it's 4/3, the whole world blows up. Bad news. Okay so far? Okay. So hopefully everybody feels okay with that. Can I get thumbs where you folks are at? Okay. All right, good.
That's what we just did in the test. We weren't calling it domain. Right?
Oh, I think I called it domain.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let me give you a function. Given f of x, I wonder if I have something in here like it. No. No, it's okay. Given f of x equals 2x minus 3. I want you to first find 3 points. And put them in this table. So pick any 3 numbers you want for x. You choose, I don't care. What are the easy ones? What would be the easiest ones to do? X is what?
0, 1,
0 and 1. Yeah, maybe 2. 0, 1, 2. Would probably, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2 would probably be the easiest. But you can pick any ones you want. The second thing I want you to do is these points. You've done that, is express these as points, x comma y. And I'd like you to graph them. Mm-hmm. Do those 3 things. Let's take a look. So I think you folks said you picked 0, 1, and 2. Most people did. And you pick any numbers you want, but that's most common. So here y is 0 times 2 is 0, minus 3 is negative 3. 1 times 2 is 2, minus 3 is negative 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is positive 1, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so express these as points. So to express these as points, you would have written 0 comma negative 3, 1 comma negative 1, and 2 comma 1. Good? And you gotta graph them. Okay, so 0 comma negative 3, 1. So there's that one. I should probably make some little tick marks here. That's all I need. And then the next point is 1 comma negative 1, and then 2 comma 1. So I didn't draw I did not draw this to scale very well, but should make a line kind of that goes through here. Like I said, obviously my sense of points is totally screwed up. Okay. Right, everybody has something along those lines? Good. So then next, I want you to write them in function form. In function form. Someone might say, well, what's function form?
Yeah.
That's f of something equals something else. Function form. F of something equals something else. So you need to fill in these blanks. That might be a good thing to have on your note card, right? And you know, actually, I'll give you an example. F of 2 equals 3, for example, right? Something like that. That's not yours, but that would be, this is an example. Has everybody done this one?
Yeah.
F of 0 equals what? Negative 3. F of 1. Here, f of what? Is f of 1 my x or my y?
X.
F of 1.
Oh, I think it's X. Y. Oh, Y.
Y. Is f of 1 my, f of 1 is my y. What's my x?
1.
1. So when x is 1, f of 1, my y is negative 1. Last one, f of 2 is y. It's the y when x is, what's x?
2.
2. X is 2, y is 1. That's why f of 2 equals 1, because y is 1. Okay, great. And the last thing is write a function that translates say up to and left 4. So you have your function, right? Translate it, write a new function that translates it up to and left 4. Up 3, up 2, left 4. So remember, translation, left, right translation, is that on the inside or the outside? Inside, right where x is. Up, down, is that on the inside or the outside? Outside of the function. Okay, so again, inside. So inside means right where x is. That means that, I'll call it something else. I'll call it g of x. equals, what is this? 2, right inside where x is, I'm gonna write x something. And then I have, what else do we have? Minus 3. So something happens here, and something happens there. Right? So right inside where x is, we've got to put a little parentheses around x, and x, something happens with x, that's the inside. And then there's something happening on the outside. What are those things? Good? Are we done? Alright. So inside, let's see, left 4. Remember the inside is the opposite, that's plus 4. And then the outside is up 2, so that's going to be plus 2 on the outside. And then you should probably clean it up. I feel like you folks should be able to clean this up. So we have 2x plus 4. And then minus 3 plus 2. If I combine those two like terms, I get minus 1. But I also feel like you should combine it. You're good enough at this point to distribute those in. So you really should be able to make that 2x. And then 2 times 4 is plus 8 minus 1. So that becomes 2x plus 7. That's your final answer. Does everyone follow? Did everyone follow that part? So I think everyone got the combining like terms out here. And then you have to distribute. So that combines into minus 1. You have to distribute the 2 into both these. So 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 4 is 8. And then you still have the minus 1, so combine like terms here. I get 2x plus 7. Okay. Everyone still feeling all right with these? So the next thing we're going to look at is finding inverses. So inverse. I'll give you a function here. F of x equals 1/5 x minus 2. Find the inverse. Remember how to do that? So what's up with the inverse? What do we know about the inverses?
X and Y swap.
X and Y swap. So first I need to make this so I have x and y. So rewrite that so it's x and y. So I'm going to rewrite this so that you have x and y in there. Pretty straightforward. F of x is y. So we're just going to rewrite y equals 1/5 x minus 2. That's the original function. Now for the inverse, the x and y swap. Then you need to solve it for y. Right, so x and y swap. You need to solve it for y. Are people stuck on that x and y? So in other words, where x is, make that y. Where y is, make that x. X and the y swap places.
Just the letters or the numbers next to it?
Just the letters. Otherwise, if the numbers went with it, then they wouldn't be swapping. Yep. This is the inverse. They swap places, but now you got to write it in terms of f of x, so you got to solve for y. So I'm going to solve for y. Couple things. One is, okay, so the final is going to be 11 o'clock. Everyone's agreed that we're going to have it 11 o'clock instead of at 9:30. It's roughly twice as long as a regular exam. So if you look past through your previous exams, shh, a little bit quieter. You can still talk, but quieter. then it's about, it's a lot of the same problems, except for a couple of these where I've combined into one piece, like the ones I've gone over with you just recently. And then Wednesday and Friday are optional. However, if you attend Wednesday or Friday, I will take one of your past absences and give it a 6 instead of a 0. That sort of makes sense? So you can kind of make up some, if you have some previous absences, you can kind of use that to make them up a little bit. Not entirely, because it's only an hour and a half. It's not the full, 3-hour thing, but I'll give you like 6 points instead of 0 points. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Find the inverse. So I need to solve for y, right? So I need y by itself. So what happens to y first? First it's multiplied by 1/5, and then we subtract 2, everybody on board? So when you undo it, you've got to undo it in the opposite order. You've got to get rid of the -2 first, and then get rid of the divide and the multiply by 1/5. So first, we're going to add 2 to both sides. Add 2 to both sides, and you'll end up with x plus 2 is equal to 1/5 y. Now you need to multiply both sides by 1/5, or 5/1, the reciprocal of 1/5, 5/1, so that, how do you get rid of -2?
I think I just forgot the x. I just put 2.
Yeah, add 2. And then I'm going to multiply by 5/1 over here, need to multiply by 5/1 over here, which is really just 5. So here I'm going to have 5 times x plus 2 equals y. You can leave it like that, or if you want, you can distribute that in. Either one's okay. 5x, 5 times 2 is 10. So either you'll have f inverse, don't forget inverse is that -1, to the power of -1. Of x is equal to 5 times x plus 2, or f inverse of x is equal to 5x plus 10. Either one is fine. All right. So if these are, so what I'd like you folks to do as we go through these is make little stars along the one that you're like, I'm not so sure about this one, so that next class and Friday, especially Friday, I know you can say, Ms. Young, can we go over one like this? I need another practice with one like this, and we can do more of those types of problems, right? So I'm going to try to go over kind of everything today, and then Tuesday or Wednesday we'll try to go over all those types of problems, all the rationals that we, or the quadratics that we hadn't seen in a while. And then Friday I'd like to take from you folks, say, this is the type of problem I had that I struggle with. I'd like to go over can you make up one of these or make up one of those, and then we'll kind of do a spattering of everything that, depending on what people want to look at. All right, so here's this one. Next, let's use the one from here. Go to page 35 and 36.
Page 30? Oh, number
Yeah.
35.
Problem? Oh.
Problem 35 and problem 36.
Oh my gosh.
So let's do 35A, and then we'll do and then we'll do 36B. 36B. 35A, 36B. Yeah, like I said, I took someone else's, they gave sort of a bunch of problems, and I just took the ones that kind of applied more to my class, since everyone teaches them slightly differently. So we're going to do 35A, and we'll do 36B. Does everyone remember what that little circle, what the hollow circle is? Anyone remember?
F of G?
It's like f of g. So f of g means, so the first thing you should do when you see f of g is you should rewrite it like this. F of g of 8, like that. Or g of x, but in this case it's g of 8. So first find g of 8, start from the inside out, find g of 8, and then that is your input for f. G of 8, let's just look at g of 8. Find g of 8 first. Is g of 8 g of 8? Is that my x or my y? It's my y. What's my x? What's my x?
X to the 3.
My x is 8. So look at this right here. G of x equals x to the third. G of x is my y, my function. It's my answer. It's x to the third. So you input x, whatever x is, and your y is x to the third. You look back at this one over here. Right, f of x equals 2 f of x equals 2 times whatever x is minus 3. If I put in 0 for x, that means I put 0 in here, and I find the y. So f of 0 is 2 times 0 minus 3, negative 3. That's how we ended up with this here. Sorry, not that one. This one right here. So this is your y when x is 0. When x is 0, my y is negative 3, because if I put f of 0, I put in 0 for x, I'll end up getting negative 3. That's how these functions work. So g of 8 means I'm going to take what g of x is, and instead of x, everywhere, what's my x in this case? 8. 8 to the third. So you got to find 8 to the third. What's 8 to the third?
12.
512? Great. Now, we're going to put that into f. F of g of 8. Right? Is the same thing as f of, what's g of 8? 512. So if you see that, so g of 8 is the same thing as 512. They're synonymous. They're the same thing. G of 8 is 512. So instead of writing g of 8, I can just write 512. So what's f of 512? Well, f of x is whatever my x is minus 5. What's my x in this case? 512. So then what's 512 minus 5?
507.
507. Done. That's f of g of 8. So f of g of 8 is 507. That's your final answer. I thought you'd be more practice at this. Everybody do B. So B is different. B is g of f, not f of g. So first rewrite it. So it's not the same order, it's g of f of 2, negative 2.